Hey Summit Men, my name is Kevin Derby and I am the Associate Campus Pastor at the North Durham campus. I hope you have enjoyed our Who's Your One ReFresh study so far and have identified, prayed for, and begun engaging with your one. This week, we'll be looking at the S in FISH. And as a reminder, FISH is an acronym we use as an outline for living an evangelistic life. FISH stands for F, building friendships, I, initiating spiritual conversations, S, sharing the gospel, and H, helping them to believe. Romans 10 brings up a crucial question for every believer. How can anyone believe in Jesus without hearing about him? The only hope for every non-Christian is for some Christian to tell them the good news of the gospel and to help them know how to believe in Jesus. One of the primary things this FISH model highlights is that God uses all of us, you and I, in various times and ways, to be the strategic person He is placing in someone's life in order for them to hear and believe. The practice of identifying who your one is helps us open our eyes to how God is using us in our lives already. As we build friendships and have spiritual conversations, at some point we're obligated to our non-Christian friend to share the hope that we have with them and invite them to believe. Unfortunately, sharing the gospel is something that most Christians feel very overwhelmed in doing, which is a shame because it really isn't that difficult. Sharing the gospel is a little like making an omelet, you could say. The first time you did it, if you ever have, you felt intimidated at multiple parts, even while following step-by-step instructions, reading and rereading many times in the process. But if you kept making omelets, you probably don't think about a recipe anymore, and each time in, you add your own flavor and twist to suit whomever you are sharing a meal with. So, sharing the gospel is like making an omelet. And in your group this week, you're going to be practicing breaking some eggs. Small group leaders, go ahead and pass out the eggs. All right, that's a joke, just kidding. This week in your group, you're going to be practicing two different methods of sharing the gospel. Number one, sharing your testimony. Sharing your testimony is a very personal way to point to what Jesus has done in your life. You may share your salvation story or just a brief snapshot of how God is working in your life now or another season to help convey the good news of the gospel. And you'll see in the back of your study guide in additional resource number 5, an article called Clarifying and Sharing Your Testimony. It has several helpful tips on how to think about and share your testimony. And you may want to reference that in your group before practicing your testimony. The goal is for everyone in your group to practice sharing their testimony with 2 different people before leaving. Another way you can share the gospel is by using a tool. There are a number of helpful tools out there to help you share the gospel, and we like one called The Bridge, and we're going to practice using it. You'll find an example of The Bridge on page 33 in your study guide in the additional resource section. We recommend everyone in the group use a pen and a piece of paper to practice walking through the bridge and to practice with at least 2 people in your group before you leave tonight. Again, we know sharing the gospel can be intimidated, so we hope that this time in your groups proves to be beneficial as you prepare to share the good news with your one.